ladies and gentlemen, it's the old guy Jack here. I've been doing some other stuff here lately. I'll give you a preview there. I brought my 50-inch zero-turn mower in here that I've been using for, I don't know, 8 to 10 years, I guess. And we're gonna try and rebuild the mower deck on that. I gave the engine a good service yesterday, and I've been out in the yard picking up limbs that have fallen off of trees. So today we got this little puppy in the mail yesterday. That's the condenser for this. And I'm going to gather up all my tools that I'm going to need. And this would be the first one. This is the, out of this kit that I bought, the flywheel puller. So we're going to use that. So I think we're ready to begin. Let's put the camera back in the holder. Point it in the direction of the work to be done, and see what we can do. Let's see, what is it, a 17? Well, it wasn't tight, so that wasn't needed. Yeah, I think I was getting ready to pull this before. Got it. Okay. All right, loosen this up. And screw it in to the flywheel. That's about it. It pulls right off of there. I happen to know that Woodruff key is kind of loose in there, but can't get that loose. All right, set that out of the way, and they are indeed Allen head or socket head screws. Might be this one. And they're not real tight either. I think I started to pull this off the other day when I found a bit of a problem. And there should be three total. Yep, there are three. And those are there. Now the stator should come out of there without too much problem. Before we do that, I'm gonna measure the capacitance of the condenser here. All right. We turn this to capacitance. 1 on the case and 1 on the tip. Looks like 214 nanofarads. It's not that far from what the old one was. I think it was 170 something, maybe. So this may not fix my problem. Trying to figure out how the wiring is done here. Well, what a revolting development this is. This black has to be the source coil. And that, nope, black goes to the points. Ah, so this is the source coil. This one here. You see that? I was all wrong. This black wire goes all the way underneath here and comes over and attaches to the points right here. Okay. We're making progress. Let me get this out of the way. Clip this on here. And I'm going to check this one. That's 178 nanofarads, which is equivalent to 0.178 microfarads, which is probably not bad. I'm not sure how that's put in there. It doesn't look like there's any holding method. So we're going to have to probably tap it out somehow. Looks like a press fit in there. I'll get that figured out and get back to you. All right, so what I determined was the black wire goes to the points. The points, in turn, connect upstream to the primary of the ignition coil up here. And so when I open the points, or when the points are closed, as they are now, this black wire shows to ground, down here, 0 ohms, which is correct. When I open those points manually now, it climbs up to 2.8 ohms. And that 2.8 ohms is the resistance of the primary up here. Blue wire coming from here goes to that yellow wire right there on the coil. Okay, but underneath that, down here, there's another connection to that coil, and that is a blue-black. So blue-black comes up here and connects to something up here. Yeah, this connector. I'm not sure, it might just be a ground. Well, folks, after getting out the schematic and running down that blue-black wire, it seems to be a second winding on that coil rather than the ground. And it goes up to the headlight and the horn. It provides power to the headlight and the horn. So I guess sometimes they'll do that. They'll put 2 windings on the same core. So that's all that was. The source coil is basically grounded to the stator. Okay. GoPro said, I'm tired, I need a new battery. So I gave it a new battery. All right, so we put 2 of these washers on there, and then I put this on, which pushes down there, and I used my little tiny hammer so I wouldn't make too much torque going down on it, and we drove it down into that hole. That's the old one. And hopefully it's going to work. So we need now to solder these 2 wires back to it, put the stator back in where it belongs, and then see if we got spark for some reason. I don't know why I didn't have spark, actually, because I don't think that old condenser was bad, unless it was breaking down under load. So I'm not too optimistic that we're going to have spark after we get this back together, but we'll give it a shot. Well, we got the new condenser installed. We need to get the stator reinstalled. And then we'll check it for spark again. If I can get that out of the way. I hope that didn't push it. Seems to be in there. All right. Then we got a washer. I think if I can get the magnet to let it go, and a nut. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you are. Well, folks, this is just a little bit embarrassing. I was putting all the covers and everything back on this bike. I was going to set it aside for a couple of days till that new flywheel and stator got here. And my nephew came out and was looking at the bike and saying, "Oh, that's kind of neat. You mean you can pedal this like a bicycle?" And I was showing him you could pedal it like a bicycle. And I got to thinking, and I looked up on the handlebar, and there's the switch up there, the kill switch. I had disconnected that down below, the wire that comes from that kill switch, when I was troubleshooting it before, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. But I had put all the wires back together when I was troubleshooting the wires. So when I tested for spark after putting in the new condenser, I didn't have any, and I didn't think. So this time I went up, I switched the switch to the other position using a pair of pliers, and I cranked it over and told my nephew to grab the starter clutch up there, and he did, and this is what we saw. Bound to do it again, huh? Isn't that beautiful? Look at that spark. Don't get any better than that. Well, good morning, folks. I got the spark yesterday. You saw that. But I ran into a couple of problems of getting to ride this thing. First of all, I had a brand new throttle cable here, but the internal cable is too long, so it won't work for me. So I got to either shorten that cable or put the old one back in, and the old one's not working real well, so it's kind of kinked and so on. And then I didn't have a proper spark plug for this, so I called my Napa representative. I don't have a Riley's here, and he said he could get me one by this afternoon sometime, so I'll have that and try and figure out what I'm going to do with the cable. But I'm going to go ahead and post this what video I've got. You can see that I made some progress with the spark at least, and the other stuff is all pretty minor. I did install the petcock on the gas tank that I painted, so that's ready to go, and we'll hopefully get this cable squared away. But I can't do it right away because I've got about 3 acres of lawn here that has to be mowed, and it's growing pretty fast, and the mower, the deck is off of the main mower, so I got to get that back on and get to work on the lawn today. Here's what I was talking about on the mower. I got to get this deck put back on there and get to mowing. You can see out here I mow all that all the way down to the highway, all the way around the house and down to that fence over there you see, and then all this out here in the barnyard, although we don't have a barn anymore. It was over there where that red shed is, and it didn't get taken care of. The roof got leaky and it went away maybe 40 years ago, I think so. So anyway, we'll see you later.